Time to do an update on our 2025 trip to Washington. Well, we started off at the DFW airport, as any trip does, and we did a video at the airport to try to help Javelin memorize Joshua 8. I believe we only got through 8 verses of it, and that may be all we did, but it was a good way to spend the time. On the plane, I sat next to a delightful woman and maybe her husband. She was nervous, but they prayed when they were nervous, which was cool. I gave them one of my Christmas bulbs that I had made, said thanks for the good ride together, and when we landed, I saw this great sweatshirt that I loved, but it kind of looks just like my Rock 9 sweatshirt, and I didn't want to buy another copy of a sweatshirt, but I loved the green and the sleeves. Anyway, I couldn't stop thinking about this sweatshirt. It was only $15. We got home and really appreciated Grainer's great tree that had grown in place of the old tree that had fallen on her garage. It looked like a great Christmas tree, private, personal Christmas tree that she had. She also had a lot of interesting things around the house. Sienna liked to just play with her exercise equipment. Pretty soon after we got there, Johora and I decided we needed to go for a run to shake off the travel stiffness. And so we went to the Ording Trail, which we'd been to before. And it was cold, it was windy, we were scared, but it was a delightful run. Very delightful, very scenic. There was a river we ran by, we could see the mountain in part of it. Aside from that, all the tall trees. It was a great time, went 5 miles. We had dinner at Brooke and Jamil's. I was impressed with their open layout of their house and their floors and their pantry, which just looked like a big room with cabinets. Grainer's took Jab and Sienna to a climbing park or a trampoline park or something, while me and Johora met with Tony and Jennifer to talk about our plans for hanging out with them while we were here. We walked along a great path along the harbor, and it was very scenic and beautiful. Pretty long walk. I was jealous of all the runners there. After our long walk, we ended up at a place where you could take a ferry across, and then we walked back and met at a mall, went to a ramen place, fancy ramen noodle place, and we decided that we were going to go to Canada with Tony and Jennifer. Before Christmas, we put together a nice gift for Jamil's family, a box of some things that they might like. And on Christmas Eve, Brooke had some gingerbread house kits for the kids that they could build. They opened presents. We did a North Pole murder mystery, which involved some charades, some guessing the song.
2, 3.
Christmas, we got to explore Jamil's property, see Mason's rooster, see the beautiful scenery he has there. He has kind of a river there, or a creek. And we just hung out in front of a lot of games. And I'm not talking my games. I brought some escape games that people didn't want to play with me. After Christmas was our road trip to Oregon. It was very scenic. Saw a cool helicopter there. They had some cool lights, great view. But then we went to Latourell Falls for our hike. And there were a lot of falls. We should have counted at least 12. It was very impressive. Of course, we took pictures by the big falls. There was maybe 2 of those. One at the entry that we hiked to, and then another that we happened upon. always casting up a bunch of mist, could make you wet if you stayed in one spot too long. Half our hike was just great and beautiful, and then it started to rain, and so the rest of it was pretty wet.
Yeah!
There's a nice bridge. On the way back, we went to a food truck restaurant. Very nice lighting. The next day, I had Zumba with Granners in a nice inside gym that Johora would have loved. Went to the Museum of Flight in the afternoon. It had a lot of rooms. It was very extensive. Pappy would have loved it. Palm would have loved it. They had a floor for World War I, another floor for World War II. They had an outdoor place where you could walk on planes and see what they had there, such as the presidential plane of the 1950s. On Sunday, we went to the main room for Bible class, and there was a guy talking about the plagues of Egypt, which reminded me of a podcast about connections between Jesus and Moses that I had to share. We had dinner at Linda's house with spaghetti, and Coco and Ayana got to catch up with them. Finally, Canada. We invested in some tickets to Grouse Mountain. Getting to Canada wasn't really hard, a 3-hour drive from Washington. Getting across the border, about 15 minutes. Once we crossed the border, we realized our phones don't work here. So that was a complicated thing that we forgot to look into. We stopped at a gas station, tried to get directions and take screenshots of all those so that we could figure out how to get to Grouse Mountain and our hotel. So Johora successfully navigated us to Grouse Mountain, and we got there about 3, just enough time to maybe see something before it got dark. Happens to get to the entry about the same time as Tony and Jennifer. Rode the gondola up to the top. It was very beautiful.
We will now be approaching the second of our 2 towers. Please steady yourself again and travel point a little bit more this time. And welcome to Grouse Mountain.
There were snowball fights, lots of snowball fights that they enjoyed. We slid down some slopes.
Be careful there for the last one.
Sienna, scoot over!
We saw some wooden carvings.
So cute.
Went on a light walk, threw snowballs through the park. There was a kid's rope course. There were some light up animals and just a very nice lit scenes across a bridge, in the trees. We went ice skating before we left. And back down the gondola ride to the hotel, which, although the hotel was great, it was a miserable night trying to sleep with Sienna. She would sleep every which direction and hit us in the face with her hands, and she had me confined to a small corner of the bed, curled up, The next day we wanted to make use of having to stay in Canada, so I decided we would eat breakfast at Duffin's, which had great reviews. Turned out to be just donuts, and all they took was a debit card or cash and not an American debit card. Crummy, very expensive donuts, nothing special about them. But we navigated through just following our GPS to Stanley Park, and it was a beautiful park. But we didn't really stop because everything around it cost parking. And then we found out Tony and Jennifer weren't getting our messages, so we met them at the totem poles and got to check out the totem poles. Looked at the bay a little bit, and then it was time to leave. All throughout Canada and Washington, there were low clouds within the trees, on the ground, very impressive. Before we left Canada, we went on the Suspension Bridge hike. We got some coffee and hot chocolate there. The suspension bridge was beautiful, great views. The hikes were beautiful, some of the tallest trees.
I want to go play. One.
Oh, my back! Oh, yeah!
Like a dragon.
Oh, this is the worst part of a lot. Yes.
Once again.
I think it runs.
Pretty big. We get in that car, just us.
Last day in Washington, we went to an outlet just to see what the Nike factory could offer us. There was a beautiful view of the mountain all throughout Washington. And we drove through a cloud on the way to Jamel's house. It was a beautiful day, and then suddenly I saw this cloud, took a picture as we were going in, and then it looked like we were in a whole different spot. It was dark, it was foggy, it was cloudy, it was just rainy. And then we just drove right out of the cloud. Got to see Nick and have dinner with them, and Javelin and Sienna watched the Wild Robot, and that was our trip to Washington. It was a great time.